Today is a very exciting day because I am driving a 2018 Porsche GT3 and it has a 6-speed manual. I've been really looking forward to trying out one of these cars. When Porsche announced the 991 GT3 and GT3 RS, they said that the manual was gone. You could only option it with a PDK transmission, and that upset a lot of purists. I think that was one of the determining factors that helped make the 911R prices skyrocket, because it was like, oh my god, a manual transmission Porsche with the GT3 RS motor. Well, now when they came out with the 991.2, Porsche backtracked and announced, all right, we will offer it with both a PDK and a 6-speed manual as a no-cost option. I immediately was like, oh my god, that's awesome, because I mean, I like manual transmission cars. They're fun to drive, it's more engaging, and the fact that they brought it back, I was also really intrigued to see what the take rate would be, because honestly, a lot of the people that are making all the noise about, oh my god, it should come with a manual transmission, they might not be buying them. A lot of people who can actually afford it could maybe appreciate the PDK more. So I honestly, my initial theory was there would still be a lot more people buying the PDKs, because the people with the money purchasing these vehicles, they opt for the PDK. There's a reason why. The companies did market research. Porsche figured out people weren't buying them anymore, and they decided to get rid of it. I don't think they would have done it just to piss off their customers. Regardless, I actually know a couple owners with manual ones down. This one is the one I am reviewing today. If we start with some Powertrain Basics, it has a 4-liter now. A 4-liter flat 6 engine, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no forced induction, all naturally aspirated goodness that revs to 9,000 RPM. You might be, if you're familiar with Porsches, you will know that the 991.1 GT3 RS came with a 4-liter flat 6. This is a revised version. It's updated, it's newer, new crankshaft, a couple newer internals. It revs faster and higher. This goes to the full 9,000 RPM redline. The 991.1 GT3 RS 4.0 redlined at 8,800. The people who claim they can feel that last 200 RPM, I am not quite certain, because I've spent a lot of time with a GT3 RS and a GT3, and when I'm running it through that rev range above 8,000 RPM, I promise you, I could not feel the difference. Regardless, this is a better engine. It's up to 500 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque, which the 500 horsepower is decent, and 339 pound-feet of torque is actually not a lot, because it's a naturally aspirated engine that they rev the heck out of. Compared to some of the other forced induction supercars out there now, like a 488 or a 570S, this is weak in comparison. But it makes up for it in driving experience. The feel of that engine, it just encapsulates the entire vehicle. That is what the experience is. And I mean, revving up to 9,000 RPM, naturally aspirated, and pulling off a shift is amazing. So this engine is really what this car is all about. It just is the highlight of the entire experience. The naturally aspirated feel, the way it revs, the way it sounds is amazing. And when you're driving it, you never feel like it's low on power. I don't think so, because it's just such a great experience. And the transmission really couples with this engine really well. Every time I've driven a PDK-equipped Porsche 911, whether it be a Carrera or a Turbo or a GT3, GT3 RS, I never got out of it thinking, that's a bad transmission, because PDK is probably the best dual clutch in the market. This manual is a completely different feel, and it's a great manual. This is actually my first time driving a manual Porsche of any generation or kind. And I mean, the clutch is perfect, the shift mechanism is perfect, you never are gonna miss a gear. It's perfectly into the right gear. Another thing is, when you're in sport mode with the manual, you get rev matching and no lift shifts. So right now, I mean, there's a rev matching, let out the clutch and you go. Yes, I can turn it off, and that's my own rev matching, which is also fun to do, but if you just want the computer to do the thing, maybe on a track it might be easier. Either way, turn it on again, rev match, perfect downshift. It's really nice to have. If we talk about exterior styling, I love the way the 991.2 GT3 looks. It's a subtle update. I mean, 911s never really undergo massive changes at all, and especially with the mid-cycle. The front fascia has changed a little bit with the intakes, the rear is different, the taillight shape has changed a little bit. You can tell, I think you really have to know cars, and Porsche specifically, to tell the difference between a 991.1 and a 991.2. Overall though, the small changes add up to make this look more aggressive. It looks lower, wider. The bigger wing out back really does help balance it out. I personally don't really like the way the Touring looks. I think the missing rear wing really unbalances the car. I think this fixed rear wing looks awesome, the huge gaping intakes in the back. It doesn't have the quite over-the-top ostentatious aggressiveness of a GT3 RS, which has an even taller wing. It's got the wider hips with the intakes and then the fender vents. This is a little more understated, and you can view this as a positive or a negative. A GT3 will never attract as much attention as another vehicle you can buy for this kind of money. If you hop in a dealership and grab an Audi R8 V10, it will turn 10 times more heads than this, because to casual observers, it probably looks something like a regular Carrera, hell, even a Boxster. That might be the upside of some people, because this is the driver's car. This is not a car you roll up to Cars and Coffee with. Actually, Cars and Coffee you might, because people like cars there, but roll up to the steakhouse and turn everybody's head. This is a car you buy because you love the act of driving. The inside is also similarly just functional, fundamental Porsche basics. Everything is excellent though. Don't make if it's a little bit Spartan, but that doesn't mean it's not nice. Everything is the top quality leather, carbon fiber, Alcantara. The fit and finish is pristine. Not a single panel gap that's like out of alignment. Every single piece of stitching is perfect. Everything works nicely. My usual complaint of Porsche is having a lot of buttons. Actually, I was just in a Macan a couple days ago, and it's nothing. This is way better. Regardless, all you really need is the shifter here, the steering wheel, the pedals down here, and your carbon bucket seats. That's all you really care about in this interior. What is it like to drive? Amazing, just amazing. It's astonishing how much the transmission changes the experience of this car. I feel so much more involved in it. I really now understand why some of the guys just love it being a manual, and they insisted on getting it with a manual transmission. PDK is great, but wow, just you revving it out yourself and throwing those shifts through and having it line up perfectly is an euphoric experience. This car is perfectly well balanced despite having the engine in the back. It feels unlike other mid-engine vehicles out there. This is more exciting than a 991 GT3, simply I just think because of the manual transmission. This is utterly an amazing experience. The steering is communicative, is direct. The engine revs freely and builds speed linearly. Everything about this car, I don't have a single complaint about how this vehicle drives. It rides decently well given the larger wheels, the sports extension. I'm not in full sport chassis mode, but in regular mode, it's riding fine. It handles great. It's nimble. It doesn't feel excessively large. You can throw it through a corner and you feel confident in the vehicle. I mean, with rev matching, you can whip perfect downshifts. Off shifts are easy. The shifter is perfectly precise. I've just used up my entire vocabulary of positive words to describe the way this car drives because I can't think of anything else, and I honestly cannot think about any complaints with this vehicle. If we talk about value, it's an expensive car. It's a Porsche GT3. It's a brand new Porsche GT3. A lot of people have to pay markup to get into one of these. The wait list and demand for them is off the charts. You sell a used one, it's gonna be over sticker. And if we just talk base price, ignoring the markup for a while, base price is somewhere in the mid 140s range, which is I think over 10,000 more expensive than the starting price of the previous GT3. So it's definitely increased in price, but you do get a lot more for the car. And it being a Porsche, if you ever go option a Porsche on the configurator, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can put tens of thousands of dollars of option on this car without blinking. This car has almost $45,000 in options on it. All the carbon fiber, the carbon bucket seats, the carbon ceramics are like 10,000 bucks. Fire extinguisher. That's not even going into paint to sample or the extremely high-end custom things. This is not a cheap car to purchase, but the value is excellent. I'll tell you why. One, they hold value very well. I was just mentioning markup. If you want to go buy a GT3, you'll probably have to pay a little bit over sticker. That's just the thing with them. If you buy it, drive it for a while, you can take it to a track day, enjoy it, whatever you want to do with it, and you decide to sell it in 2 to 3 years, you will get most of your money back. You might break even. You might lose a little tiny bit. They hold value exceptionally well. It's just the thing Porsches do, especially the GT3 cars. The second thing is, the performance that this car offers is definitely on par with vehicles that cost more. It's fast too. I mean, around a racetrack, it's right there. If you look at some of the tests out there, it's right up with like a McLaren 650S. I think they did a comparison of this car with an AMG GTR, and it's right there. This thing has supercar performance, and I definitely call it a supercar. So if at its price point, between 165 to probably right around 200, depending on paint to sample and other options, it is an excellent value. I love it. I would definitely buy one. I really want one now. Overall, my verdict on the manual GT3 is, oh my God, the fact that it's a manual makes it so special. PDK is flawless and great. If you want a car just to daily drive around, maybe you live somewhere warm all year round with nice roads, and you want to daily drive your car, take it to the track, and be the absolute fastest, sure. But if you are looking for the most immersive and just rewarding experience in a vehicle, get one of these. It really, I don't have enough words to describe how much I think this car is amazing. I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.